I do have one question just because I'm not super familiar with the build for rent space. We talk a lot about syndications and stuff on the show, but very interested. Through your time in this, obviously single family homes can be bought and sold in different ways. I'm curious about exit strategies. Obviously, you have a huge play in selling these portfolios to institutional investors. It's kind of the play there. Is there any other strategies, exit strategies for this type of portfolio instead of just, selling it off to institutional investors? Was that ever in your playbook, or is it just completely institutional investors the whole way?
The biggest part of my business isn't actually selling to the institutional investors. The biggest part of my business is selling to the guys who will eventually exit to the institutional investors.
Right. Okay.
So the answer is yes. There's tons of strategies out there that ultimately could find an exit through an institutional investor, or they can find another exit through, creating a REIT and exiting through either public markets or private markets. There always has to be an exit for the project in mind. And right now, the easiest thing to rationalize is exiting to a big public company, right? But, if that's your exit strategy, the problem people run into is that puts them in a lot of very, very crowded ponds all over the place. Like if your ultimate goal is to sell the Invitation Homes, who's in, I think, 12 or 13 markets, that puts you in 13 of the top most hotly contested markets all around the country, competing against everyone else that's doing generally the same thing, looking to exit to a company like them. What I love is people that kind of have a little more of a risk tolerance and I'll give you an example. There's a portfolio of 160 properties in a place called Athens, Georgia, right? Athens is where the University of Georgia is. It's a big military town, solid, salt of the earth, blue collar community. It's not a submarket of Atlanta. It's its own market, right? Now, if I was going to sell that to a fund that only wanted to exit through an institutional investor, they wouldn't look at it because none of the big guys are there and none of the big institutional investors are talking about or thinking about going there. But Athens got all this great stuff going for it. Like rent growth is off the charts, home price appreciation is high, schools are good, there's a lot of work in the area. It's a solid town. Now, a guy like, anybody might look at it and say, if I could build a portfolio of 500 or 600 or 700 properties there, well, then I've got this big, well-heeled, well-performing portfolio that if a firm like Invitation Homes or Progress or Tricon or any of the big guys wanted to go there, well, my acquisition will make it possible in one purchase, right? So very often what I find people not doing right now, because it takes a lot of guts and it takes a lot of risk tolerance, is picking a place that they think is a really good area for a number of reasons and plan on building a portfolio there that they know by virtue of building a nice big portfolio that is well operated and well heeled. But it's kind of like the if you build it, they will come kind of thing.
Right.
Build something like that with a good solid strategy, you're going to find an exit if it's a well heeled and well operated portfolio.